Assange!
Free Assange!
Free Assange, yes. Stop the persecution.
Put the real criminals in jail.
Put the real criminals in jail. That's right. Not just those that reveal the crimes.
Freedom for Assange, we shall not be moved. Freedom for Assange, we shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's planted by the water, we shall not be moved. You know, a dead tree can stand by the water, so let's say planted by the water.
Planted by the water.
As opposed to standing by the water. Libera Assange, no nos moverán. Libera Assange, no nos moverán como un árbol firme junto al río. No nos moverán. We shall not be moved.
I just want to thank everybody for coming out. I want to thank the press that's here and all our comrades. We have a specially decorated fence today with all of our banners in English and Spanish. I want to thank everyone who's brought the banners and held them over these many months. Paula Assange started this vigil 2 years ago, about 2 years ago. And there she is with a cutout of Julian.
Chris Borg in Milwaukee.
Chris Borg in Milwaukee. And you can take a picture with Julian. So we just want to thank everyone, and just to say on the status of the case, we're actually getting very close to where we could have Julian here in our area soon, because they're getting to the last appeal. They've got maybe one more court date, but you know, things can happen. He could be extradited really any day. And he will be in the Alexandria Detention Facility, which is where Chelsea Manning was for 6 months, refusing to testify to a grand jury about Julian. You know, we've been down there for Daniel Hale's sentencing and other things, so we'll be there if he's there, of course. There'll probably be an Occupy going on. So the case is really getting critical, and we've been out in front of Merrick Garland's house now, and he just left here about a half an hour ago. He pulled into got his vans and left for a trip, but he saw us, and they are aware that we're here. We get dirty looks from his wife and daughter on a regular basis. But, you know, they know we're here, and if there is an extradition, we'll respond. Oh, and the other thing is we might move our vigil from this residential area down to the White House, because there's a lot of tourists there, there's a lot of international media there, so maybe we can get some coverage there. So that's what I have to share, and who'd like to go next? Thanks for everybody for coming.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dom Pilanowski from Philadelphia area. Just want to say he's been in Belmarsh for what, like 4 years, since 2019, and it's, you know, he has no writs of habeas corpus. There's freedom worldwide depends on Julian Assange. So free Julian, and let's get it where he doesn't get extradited. You know, let's still fight that till the very end, and yeah, that's it. Just and then once if the inevitable does happen when he is extradited, then we keep fighting it here.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yay.
I'm Brian, live in DC, and we've been having this vigil now for over a year, and I just think it's really important to come out for this particular vigil. A lot of it's just so that kind of those in power know that the public's out here, we know, and we want Julian to be free, and also to spread that news also just to the general public as well, because even though a lot of us know about it still in the United States, a lot of people are just kind of blind to it, and they don't know. So it's kind of a twofold strategy of informing the public and also letting those with the power to free him know that the public knows and that he's free.
My name is David Barrows, and I'm here because I'm worried about freedom of the press. The fact that they have intimidated people from printing stories, and they're acting to put Julian Assange in prison for reporting government crimes sends a very bad message to our newspapers that are already too hesitant to tell American people what's going on about a lot of things. So if we want to hang on to our democracy, we have to stop prosecuting Julian Assange, at least find him not guilty, and support his lawsuit against the government of the United States for having him tortured in England. So we need to remember, I mean, not that it's necessary, but reporting a crime should never be a crime. And he is a publisher of facts.
I'm Martha Allen. I'm the director of the Women's Institute for Freedom of the Press. We've celebrated 50 years of working toward media democracy. I think the Julian Assange case is extremely important. We need media democracy, freedom of the press for the individual, not just the 5 corporations that pretty much run everything. So this case is crucial for independent media, for freedom of the press, for all of us, not just the rich and the powerful and those running what's going on in this country and elsewhere. So thank you for the independent media that covers the Assange case and covers all the people that are speaking up about this injustice. The fact that somebody who provided truthful information could be in jail for over 4 years, and before then have to try and avoid extradition to the United States, 6 years in an embassy. So 10 years without seeing the sun. This is an injustice, and it needs to end. Free Julian Assange.
Yeah.
Free Julian Assange.
Yeah.
Oh, and I just wanted to add also the what is it? The WGAD, the
Working Group of Arbitrary Detention.
the Working Group on Arbitrary Detention paper, was it 2015-54, I believe, /54. They said that he's been arbitrarily detained since 2010 or so, since he was in the embassy from, I believe that was 2010 that he was in there. So for, over a decade, he's been arbitrarily detained, according to
United Nations.
the UN. Yeah.
That was the United Nations. They called for his release and also with compensation. And they reiterated that statement in 2018. And I think those are the red flags of this case. All these organizations, watchdogs of the government, have come forward calling for his release to stop this prosecution. And our government just ignores it. Ignores the United Nations. It ignores Special Rapporteur on torture. Every press freedom organization, every civil liberties, every human rights organization has called for his release, and it's all ignored. Letters have, dozens and dozens, hundreds of letters have been written to Merrick Garland, and they're all ignored because they're above the law. They don't have to listen to the people, or they don't have to listen to the truth on this case.
Absolutely. Good for you.
Joan?
I guess it's my turn.
This is it.
This is a huge issue among a lot of huge issues that we're dealing with these days, and so many of them come back to who's running this show, this government that has one after the other abused its aggressive privileges, its right to hold sway over the rest of the nations and the other governments. Their use of sanctions and CIA bullying and coups and one after the other. And here we are without Julian Assange, who would be reporting this. We would be seeing probably detailed paperwork. And a lot of people are trying to fill in the gap that we feel that Julian not here. And I'm just imagining, I assume he knows a whole lot of what's going on. He's probably very frustrated with what the trend is of the media now, that they should be reporting Julian's situation. They should be reporting with greater depth. I mean, this big push towards war with China. There's so many things that are happening now that I so wish we had Julian's voice here and imagining his frustration. Super angry about what this country is doing to Julian and so many other whistleblowers. This is just hard to be somewhat of a bystander. I mean, like, I'm not a journalist, so I appreciate the opportunity to express my anger. This is not fair for this country to be bullying the world.
Is there anyone here who would want to talk about the history of this vigil? Like, this is the most recent of many times being out here, right? Does anyone want to?
Paula.
I will talk.
Okay.
I tend to be very uncomfortable on camera. I'm usually taking video. I'm Paula. I'm one of the organizers in Boston, and I helped DC organize for Assange. Actually, 2 years ago in July, 2021 was a big year because Judge Barrows announced that there'd be no extradition, but then at the end of the year, it was ruled that that extradition was cleared. And so the hearing in 2021 was October. So a number of people, you could feel it on Twitter, people were saying, somebody should go in front of Merrick Garland's house. And I said, well, maybe that somebody is you. And it made me angry, like it's always somebody else. And if there really is, if it's not me, who? So the day after, Chris Borg from Milwaukee said, I'm going down and doing a vigil in front of Merrick Garland's house. I'm playing Pink Floyd because I love Roger Waters. I love what he stands for. I love his music. I love his activism in Palestine, everything, supporting Donziger, supporting Assange. So he was going to come down, and a small group of us met, and I dropped everything and I came down just to document it. And Chris was really great. He walked over there in front of, came with a lawn chair and his guitar and his amp system, and he parked himself right there. And a woman, security, FBI, out of a SUV came out and said, sir, do you mind repositioning yourself? So they were clear about the vigil they were okay with the vigil from the get-go. So they moved us over to this spot to be out of the way and not be in front of someone's house. And it was beautiful. We had it seemed like every neighbor came out that night. And when Chris and I talked about it afterwards, we thought maybe half of them actually were like maybe a neighborhood watch, or probably some of them were FBI, just to find out who we were here, who was out in front of Merrick Garland's house. But anyway, it was a beautiful vigil. Chris was really great with the people. His thing was he would go up to people and he'd say, tell me, why is Julian Assange in prison? And he didn't want any pamphlets given out, no sign. It just wanted to be his music, Pink Floyd music. We had the American flag hanging, and it was really simple, and Chris did a wonderful job. The next day we went outside of the Washington Post and did the same. And it was a great vigil. He's in Milwaukee. I'm sure he'd be here all the time if he weren't so far away. So I felt the need with the October trials coming up to keep it going. So anytime I was down here for End the Damn Wars and Assange actions at the DOJ, I parked myself here, and it was kind of scary the first time, but it was a test. I stayed here until like 10 o'clock at night one night, deciding what my vigil was going to be. Should I vigil throughout the whole night? And then I decided, well, let me test to see how it goes. No one bothered me, no one came out, no one questioned me. And from then on, I came down once or twice a month and did that very thing. No one really supported it. They thought it was going to go south. It was a good vigil. It was peaceful. It was a fluke that I was down here December 11th, the day after the courts decided to extradite him. And that was a fluke. And I'm glad I was down here with my signs. And I had friends from Denver, Kendra, Christian came out, and Daniel DeCedar came to help me out get through the cold months. And then Joan showed up one day with wearing her Code Pink stuff, and from then on, DC activists took it over. It's not like their plates aren't already full. I mean, we've got, the small group of activists doing everything, supporting Palestine, pushing back on all the Secretary of State's poor judgments with foreign affairs. And so I really respect the DC activists. They've been amazing. And Martha, and she's been the stalwart with Brian. Rain or shine. That's why the umbrellas, Jones umbrellas, are here, because rain or shine, they showed up twice a month. So
each time Paula would write a letter that was directed towards Merrick Garland, and she would summarize what had been going on during the week and letting Merrick Garland know that there are loads and loads of people out there and around the world who are desperate to get Assange released and freedom of the press rights maintained and protected. And so Paula organizing us over the phone, and here we go.
Just want to show what's going on. You were saying.
Yeah, he has been such a stalwart. Randy Credico paying for this most of the time, but we're thrilled to have these signs touring around Washington, D.C. frequently. And but to go back to Paula's actions, we would not have stayed together so tightly and so with such good information. It hadn't been for Paula's leadership, information, and keeping us organized and together. So, hooray for Paula.
So, what strikes me most relevant about being here at Merrick Garland's home doing a protest is the Dan Ellsberg case, in which the government's actions on Ellsberg were so egregious that the judge in the case kicked it because it offended his judicial conscience, everything that they had done. Ellsberg is among the first to say what was done to him is nothing like what has been done to Assange. And so my question for Merrick Garland is, and he was almost on the Supreme Court, can he locate his judicial conscience, and what would it take for it to be offended?
This is censorship for losers. This is a Julian Assange quote. I think it sells. It really reaches a lot of people. I get great response. It's kind of a basic, more blue collar appeal. Had really good results with this at Capitals games. Some of your more conservative outlets. Tons of thumbs up. Tons of love for this one. And it's his quote, and it's one I really like. It really resonates with me, hits me.
What do we got on the other side?
So I got the little magnetic on the back. Don't forget that. That was I've got two. I've got another one I'm going to give to somebody. And this guy here, this is the big deal with this one.
Oh, this is new.
This is brand new, and this is my design, and I think it kind of works. Factors in with the general message of free Assange. We're not getting the true story, the accurate information from the network news. There's just a real small group of people who are, say on the big three cable networks who, support Julian Assange and think the case is bullshit. One of them is Tucker Carlson. He's gone. Another is Mehdi Hassan, who is still on MSNBC as far as I can tell. He said some nice things. Nobody else. This is just something that the media, mainstream cable is, ignoring. And what I look at, this is going to come back and burn everybody if we keep on this path. There's issues and crises that have not come out yet, which you're going to need the truth, you're going to need the facts on. And if the government is able to basically collaborate with media and say, you can't share this on social media, or this is not worth covering, there's just a ton of stuff that we're going to miss, environmental stuff, pharmaceutical, maybe some of your vaccine stuff, war spending, criminal justice. Just there's a whole cornucopia of issues that are going to arise in the future, and if we can't tell the truth, we can't get the truth about them, yeah, we're screwed as a country. And yeah, that's what it all means to me. I'm here on my time today. I've done, you know, work, and I've met you probably 2019, you know, doing this for various different groups. But yeah, I'm pretty close to the thing in Shirlington. I was going to come to that tonight, and then Paula said, well, hey, we're going to be up at Merrick Garland's, and well, hey, I'm in. And to get to Merrick Garland's, I have to go through DC. So yeah, I made some rounds around the mall, you know, hit the tourist crowd and stuff, get some eyeballs on this. And
Free Assange!
Free Julian Assange! Free Julian Assange! Free Julian Assange!